Hi, my name's Mara. I'm an education intern with Urban Art Space, and today we are going to be learning how to turn your hand into an optical illusion. Optical illusions are super fun because they are used to trick the brain into seeing something that you are not. So, a lot of common patterns we see with optical illusions are the use of repeating shapes and lines and the use of repeating color schemes. A common repeating color scheme in optical illusions is black and white, but today we're going to pop a little bit of color into our hands. Materials that you need for this project are a standard 8.5 by 11 computer piece of paper, typically white, a pencil to write with, a ruler to draw your lines with, and some sort of decorative element like markers, crayons, or colored pencils. I chose Sharpies for this because it's what I had on hand. And when you choose your decorative element, you want to choose a pattern of color that you would like to see throughout your project. The first step into this project is you want to place your non-dominant hand on your piece of paper. So I write with my right hand, so I'm going to put my left hand on this piece of paper. You're going to trace your hand along with your wrist on this paper. When you're tracing your hand and your wrist, make sure that you are getting in each and every little crevice and nook that is in your hand and on your wrist onto the paper, because you want to make this look as realistic as possible. Once you trace your hand and your wrist onto the piece of paper, you can remove your hand, and if you see any imperfections that you just don't really like, you can always use your eraser and kind of just retrace, or just kind of think about where it could be and just place it where you want the lines to be. Our next step, we're going to take our ruler and we are going to draw lines throughout the background of our image. So what you want to do is you can place these lines wherever throughout the image. Just make sure that they're horizontal lines. And when you're making the lines, do not put the line through the hand. So you want to kind of skip over the hand because we're going to be drawing something inside of the hand to kind of make it look 3D. A good tip is when you are drawing your lines through your background of your image, when you get to your fingers, it can get kind of tricky. So just take your time when making your lines and remember that you cannot make a line through your hands. You're going to have to skip over your fingers, and they might be very, very small lines, but they are very important to the end product of this. after you have created your lines throughout the background of your image, we are actually going to connect the lines on the inside of your hand. So from one line to the next line, we're going to make a big curve. It's going to kind of look like a mountain if you think about it, or a frowny face, kind of whatever you prefer to call it as. So from one line to the next, you're going to connect it using a frowny face or a curved line. It doesn't have to be huge, it doesn't have to be small, it's kind of whatever you prefer. And you are going to just continue connecting those two lines or multiple lines with curves throughout your hand. This next step could get really tricky because the fingers are a lot smaller than the base of your hand, so you're just going to have to be very careful, and you're going to make smaller lines and curvatures at the beginning and ending of your fingers. After adding all the curves to your hand, you are going to grab your decorative elements, so your markers, your crayons, your colored pencils. Like I said before, I have Sharpies, and you're going to kind of put those into a color scheme that you find the most appeasing. Once you have your color scheme of your choice, you're going to trace the lines with your markers, your colored pencils, or your crayons. So you're going to start with one color, and you're going to kind of follow the straight and the curved line with your first color, and then you're going to repeat that with your second color, or how many colors you have, and you're kind of just going to repeat that pattern all the way to the top of your piece. So once you've kind of created the first pattern of color, you just want to repeat all the way up to the top of your page and following the continuous curves and kind of making sure that you stop on the curve to make a very sharp straight line, because it's really going to accentuate the 3D effect that we're going to be placing on our hand. Once you've repeated the color pattern of your choice throughout the entirety of your project, you will see that the hand you traced in the first step looks like it is popping out of the paper. As you can see in the example that is shown here, it looks like my hand is popping out of the paper, and the bright colors that I chose really accentuate that feature. I am super happy with this project, and I hope you are too. Thank you for watching.